What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Paul. This is the Leeds Therapy. I hope you're doing well. Thank you ever for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. Today's video that I'm going to talk about, before I do that, if you haven't done so already, if you could subscribe for me, that'd be great. Also as well, if you could hit the like button for me, any comments that you want to make, please feel free, leave them in the comment section down below. So today's video is going to be a little bit different. What I want to have a little sort of like quick chat, I say quick, it's probably going to be slightly longer than a bit quick, is just with regards to, obviously the season's finished now. We've had a bit of a conversation with regards to players who we think are still going to be here, players who we think are going to be going, stuff like that, and kind of how we feel about it. So what I wanted to do was just have a conversation with regards to Summerville. Obviously, from what I can see and read, there are a few teams that are interested in him. Obviously, they're going to be. There is Chelsea, there's Liverpool. Fulham have also, out of somewhere, decided to get involved in the situation. And I think there's just those three at the moment that I'm kind of more keenly aware of, that people seem to be talking about a lot. And the fee that seems to be mooted around is around about 30 million, which is way off what it actually needs to be, in all honesty. For me, for somebody of that kind of stature. I mean, when you look at it on the face value of Summerville as a player, overall, I mean, what he's got across all competitions 30 goals and assists, 21 goals, 9 assists within the entire season itself. Just him as a player and how good he's been. I mean, he's the Championship player of the season for a specific reason. So things like in terms of his overall great strengths and stuff that he's got, his finishing is very strong, his key passes, his dribbling, taking set pieces, crossing, holding on to the ball, passing through balls. In terms of his style of play, he likes to cut inside, he gets fouled often because of that, likes to do layoffs and likes to play short passes. Now, I was probably a little bit critical of Summerville towards the end of the season. And what I want to kind of get on record before we sort of go a little bit further into this game itself is I am critical in terms of Summerville's level for pretty much the entirety of the season had been like way, way, way above what everybody else is. You don't, like I say, you don't get the Championship's player of the season without playing extremely well. My criticism came in is because that level that he'd managed to be quite consistent with, and he could single-handedly win you a game by himself, that level had just kind of fallen off slightly towards the end of the season. Now, there is a couple of reasons for this that you could go into. There is the fact that it's the first time that he's played a proper full season, and that proper full season happens to be in the Championship, so they're playing 46 games within a season. It's a lot to play, plus whatever cup games that you've got to play at the same time as well, which means you're going to be playing in excess of 15 above games in one season, and that's a lot for a player. And physically and mentally, when you're not used to doing that, it does take its toll. Don't get me wrong, he stood up to it really, really well. He stood up to it phenomenally well. And, you know, I'm not trying to sit here and say that he's, you know, responsible for us not getting promoted, you know, in the Championship final match. Just that consistency and level that we'd come to expect of him just sort of fell off kind of slightly to where it was previously. So, you know, forgive me, that's just kind of how I see it and how I feel about it. Now, when you talk about the teams that he's going to be getting into, potentially sort of looking at it, Fulham, I don't know where the Fulham things come from. He would walk into Fulham's team straight away without a shadow of a doubt, but I can't see him going there at all. You're also talking about somebody within the league in the Championship, when you look at overall statistics, is in the top 10 in Europe, I believe, for progressive forward play. So out of every league in Europe, Summerville is in the top 10 of all of those put together. in terms of how he plays. And this is really sounding like me putting him in the shop window. There's a bit of me that wants to kind of say, like, well, if he's going to be leaving, that I just want him to go now and just be gone. And thank you goes with my blessing, 100%, without a shadow of a doubt. But like I said, you know, he needs to be aiming higher. Is that the right way of saying it? He could, not aiming high. He could get into Chelsea's team. He could get into Liverpool's team. He's better than Mudryk, without a shadow of a doubt, in terms of a left-hand sided player, in terms of statistical wise in the way that he plays and what he brings to the team. He would be, at this current moment in time, he is better than Sterling. He, for me, gets a lot of game time in the Chelsea squad. And with Maresca going over there as well, you have to say Maresca knows him. He falls into his style of play without a shadow of a doubt, 100%. And knows what he can bring to the table. There's also as well, he played in the Premier League the season that we went down. He did still manage to score 4 goals and everything and stuff like that. So he did very, 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 very well. And like I said, he fits into Chelsea's team, I think probably more so than what he would fit into Liverpool's team. And that's because of who he would need to replace in Liverpool's team. I don't think he goes above particularly Luis Diaz. I don't think he's going to get in above Luis Diaz. And whereas he wants to improve his game and show what he's doing, and you only really get that with game time. Whereas he could, in essence, in my opinion, walk into Chelsea's squad. He wouldn't so much as walk into Liverpool's squad because of the player or the calibre of player that he would potentially be replacing, in my opinion. Now, the one big thing that we've got, I say weak, I said that completely wrong, I apologise. The one big thing that he's got is that Arne Slot is a massive admirer of his, a really, really big admirer of his. So the potential for him to actually move into the Liverpool squad is probably quite high as well. For me, what we want is a bidding war, and I think that's what will happen. And if I was to put money on it or give kind of my tips and tricks for it, overall, it'd be a bidding war, I think, between Chelsea and Liverpool in terms of who would get him. And we all know how much money Chelsea like to throw about at their overall players in terms of, you know, the way it works. But, you know, I know the Championship isn't the same sort of standard as what the Premier League is, but you know, you're looking at quite a rough, tough, fast-paced, difficult league to play in. And, you know, like I said before, 20 goals, 9 assists, an overall average of 84% passing accuracy, 16 man of the matches won, and a pretty much rating of about between 7.6 and 8 all the time for him. So, yeah, he is a good player, a very, very good player, and he has a potentially very, 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 very high ceiling. For me, as much as I don't like to say it, I can see him going to... I'd probably see him going more to Chelsea because I think he'd be guaranteed more game time there than what he would be at Liverpool. That's just my sort of take on the situation. As ever with these cases in terms of transfers and etc., so on and so forth, I want the transfers to happen quickly. I don't want us to stand around having to wait for stuff and for it to drag out and all of that kind of stuff. I just want it done, dusted, so we can move on, get the replacements in that we need to get in, and we can move on and, you know, we can start pushing and planning for our season overall. So, yeah, that's going to do it. First attempt at doing something like this. Hopefully, you know, whatever I've said has been good or interesting to you. If you've got any comments about what I've said, please feel free, put them in the comment section down below. If you haven't done so already, subscribe, like the video, share the video. That's going to do it for me. As ever, thank you for stopping by. Take care of each other, and I will see you very soon. Cheers.